We got GrindHard here. Why don't you tell us something about yourself?
I'm a big fan of things like oddities and like, you know, people's dead people's old things, like old photos or like sentimental pieces
Yeah,
of someone's life that's no longer with us.
makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's thoughtful of you.
I just like it seems thoughtful, but if I'm going to be 100% honest, I just really think it's interesting to hold a piece of someone's life.
Right. Yeah,
I just think that that's like a cool thing, you know.
it is for sure.
So
So tell us about the origin story. How did you come up with your nickname?
it was before streaming. I was very much a person of the grind culture, you know, like. Or I mean, I work I'm constantly doing stuff. I'm always trying to, at least then I was always trying to like either get my bag or put myself in a better position.
Yeah,
And it's just something that I've consistently done in my life. Like you look at some of the content I've done a few months ago, I was sitting there grinding through court cases that I was covering.
yeah.
I mean, I still kind of do that. I'm gonna be grinding through some fucking schizo content tonight.
So how do you decide on what to stream?
Uh, I a lot my free time, even before streaming and stuff, has always been filled with. I'm just fascinated with the people and how they
Right.
act under a
Yeah.
social like lens. And so that and the concept of like a lolcow is always like just always intrigued me. Someone that like it falls into a cycle of uh we'll call it ridicule. Um
Right.
where they're doing things that just like are kind of cringy or funny, and then they just like keep doubling down and they kind of get stuck in that cycle. And so like kind of
Mm-hmm.
understanding like how like trying to figure out how their brain operates is like very interesting to me.
Yeah.
Unlike it's like because like my brain, I've learned, I've like come to the conclusion that my brain runs completely differently than most people I interact with. And like uh I mean that's the tism for you. And um so like I've always tried to understand where people are coming from, and so that kind of goes in with that of like the
Mm-hmm.
trying to understand like what put people into those cycles, and trying to understand how those people can't break that cycle. Because like I felt like I even fell into that cycle at one point where I was like at least like spiraling the drain of mental illness, and
Mm-hmm.
was able to at least kind of ground myself and pull myself out of that spiral a little bit. So it's like it's always fascinating to watch people kind of lean in or dive down that drain, uh, compared to like just try like choosing options to help pull them out of that drain or that sink.
Right.
So
Yeah, having
it's
that
always
option to put yourself out of that situation makes it easier, I guess.
yeah. Well, and then there's cases that I come across, or like people that I come across that are become so reliant on that cycle,
Mm-hmm.
kind of continuing the existence that they're comfortable with. Like
Yeah.
Boogie 2988 is a really good example. The man still to this day. I watched him within this year. He faked cancer. He faked having
Yeah.
cancer.
That was
Never
so
backed it up.
fucked.
Yeah, it's so wild. But and then I just recently just kind of made a lap around on the Local Live podcast to see how where they're what they're up to and everything. Um,
Yeah.
and Boogie's like no longer facing debt. Like in like a year ago, he was like struggling to figure out how he's going to pay his like mortgage,
Right.
and that was like one of the major things that like was an issue at the time, because I think he made money from the Local Live podcast, and
Mm-hmm.
then when he got outed for faking cancer, people were like, okay, well you should like donate and stuff like that to kind of make it a little bit bright and things like
Yeah.
that. he said he couldn't because he had spent his money on the money that he had gotten from like the cancer stuff, the crypto rug pull, all that stuff that was happening right at that time. All of that he like leaned on. Oh well, I had to do this because I had to be able to pay my mortgage because I don't make money because my views are. It's like the whole like I'm a
Yeah.
YouTuber. I rely on other people, but those other people to like make my money, but those other people aren't giving me their money. So like now I don't know what to
True.
do. It's like, hey dog, like you like we're all
That's what
adults
you
here.
say that
Most
for.
of us get a job or like find other sources of income. Uh
Exactly. Yeah.
content
I
creation
mean,
is
he can
just
just
not
work
like
in like some comic book store or
or a
something.
gas station flipping burgers. Doesn't matter. Like, but the point is instead of like taking responsibility and taking care of themselves and not leeching
Yeah.
off of society and other people, they choose to
Hmm.
just whine and cry and complain about not being able to take care
Hmm.
of their things. So that's always just been really funny to me because I
Yeah.
have
It
been
is.
I up until I think like September, I was for a couple of years, I was working, you know, two jobs. I was working and streaming. Like I
Hmm.
was working with kids and doing a newspaper route. So I'd be up from like 1 in the morning till about 1 in the afternoon, get like a 2 hour nap in, go work with kids for my second shift, come home, and then stream. Like and
Yeah.
but I did that because at the time I wanted to because I wanted to get certain things
Hmm.
in my life, and to do that I had to like kind of increase. I had to like work a little bit harder on some shit to get
Yeah.
into a better spot in my life. And for me, that's not as big of an issue. I'd much rather go work a job than turn towards people and ask them for money.
Right.
That's just the way that
Or
I was
like
raised.
fake cancer just to
Yeah,
pay for bills.
or scam or just yeah, like
Yeah.
rug pull
That's just
crypto, things
crazy.
like that. So yeah, so like cases like that when people choose to do that is just very mind blowing to me, and it's very fascinating to me. And so it kind of it gives me a good laugh sometimes when people like you know, people I covered a couple of different people that were sitting there saying, oh well, I was late on rent because you know people stopped watching my videos and showing me support. And it's like, hey dude, like
That's
be an
what
adult,
you.
get a job,
That's what
like
you signed up for.
yeah,
Content
that
creation
is
is unpredictable.
yeah.
Like some example, like I can bring up is like say Tyson. He
Hmm.
had the best November compared to anybody on Twitch for like since its inception.
Hmm.
And it's like another month, he could barely get any subs. I mean, you gotta think about it too. The guests they had on were not cheap.
No, they're not cheap, and they also most times uh they also don't operate on they kind of most times, and I don't blame them for this, but they operate on their own like gain, which you know, like it's there it's going to be
Yeah,
like Snoop Dogg's a good example. Like Snoop Dogg doesn't
yeah,
necessarily gain anything by going on Kai's stream, but he kind of does. Like people love Snoop Dogg anyway, and so going
yeah,
on Kai just exposes him to younger audience that keeps him uh has eyes on his current projects instead of uh solely the stuff that he is known for, that we most
yeah,
people our age know him for, like his albums and his impact in the West Coast rap scene with Death Row Records and stuff, like all of that. uh a lot of there's going to be at least a whole generation that has no fucking idea how much of a gangbanger Snoop actually was before, like before we see him now. I don't
yeah.
know if you remember this. He actually had his own MTV show.
He did, yeah,
And like so like and that's like so for me, like there's a whole chunk of population that has no idea that that exists, but like
yeah,
there's like, you know, but he also is still exposing himself to new audiences and new eyes and everything
hmm,
like that. So I think like so it's it is cool, and I love seeing that. But yeah, it's got to be expensive. It's got to be like there's other costs too as well, like you know.
yeah. I mean,
And that
Oscar's health too. He's been
Mhm.
on camera for a whole month straight. That has to do something to you.
Yeah, yeah. That's. I mean, I was saying this before before we started the stream, but yeah, I applaud people that are able to sit and do that and not have it like take a toll. Because fuck, man,
Yeah.
I couldn't mentally. I feel like that would turn me more
Hmm.
reliant on being online, and that's a scary thought.
Yeah.
I don't
For
like
sure.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. For those that don't know, I was streaming 24/7 all of December just because I did it. Maybe I could too, and I did do it. I mean, I did not have like the production, of course, and like
That's
the
okay.
much support, but hey, we do it for fun.
Yeah,
Maybe who
yeah,
knows? I mean, like maybe one popular streamer could have seen my stream and just gifted like 100 subs, for example. But that's like so rare.
yeah.
Like that's not really why I did it. It's like just to see if I could do it. And he did it. And Kai Cenat, if you guys don't know, he is a Twitch streamer that pretty much blew up in the past 2 years. And he was streaming 24/7 in November of 2024. And it's like he had a whole production team. He had like so many people just under his roof. And correct me if I'm wrong, but he bought a house specifically for this. So it's like, who knows how expensive that would be. And think about it this way too. He did it to make history, which he did. And I don't think anybody will come close to what he has done in a long time. So we'll
Right.
see. Who knows?
Hmm.
So yeah. Um so what would you say is inspiration to you or like streamers or content creators that you look up to?
Mm, when I really think about it, when it comes to like content creators in general, I guess people like I'm a big fan of like Swoop. I love Swoop's work. She does a lot of documentary style kind of content on her main channel, and then she does a lot of more of like the tea or like commentary stuff on her second
Yeah.
channel. Uh, of like critique commentating on people that are just doing sus behaviors, things like that. um that's definitely something I has always
Yeah.
pulled towards me. But I do. There's another channel. It's called Dreading. It's a true crime channel that most times covers a lot of just interrogation style stuff.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of watching body cam footage interrogation stuff that
Mm-hmm.
has. That's where a lot of my interest in channels kind of revolve to. And then I guess for streamers,
Mm-hmm.
it'd be someone like I like the work ethic that Destiny has of like watching him go through a bunch of different research phases was really interesting. It kind of inspired me to
Mm-hmm.
start doing more in-depth notes on some of the stuff that I'm covering, especially like the
Yeah.
true crime cases. That has been really, really beneficial towards me. And then like I guess if just general interest would be like I don't know, have you ever watched Northern Line?
I've heard of them.
Yeah, I watch a lot of him for like gaming stuff just because he's a funny guy. And he streams pretty consistently. And he uploads on YouTube like excessively. So like there's always I can pull up YouTube and find always find a video from him within the last like couple days that I haven't seen yet
Yeah.
because he's like uploading multiple videos a day while streaming too. So it's just it's stuff like that, like the work ethic of some of that of like being efficient and things like that really like is kind of what inspires me. I love
Yeah.
efficiency stuff when it comes to like this.
Makes sense. Yeah. So what made you like interested in like like true crime?
Actually, it was I've always kind of liked watching true crime or like consuming it in the kind of in my passive stuff. Like it would be stuff I'd throw on. It'd be a lot of what
Mm-hmm.
I'd throw on when I was doing the newspaper route because I'd be in my car for like hours. I'd be sitting in my car for like 2 to 4 hours at a time. So like
Yeah.
I'd find a couple of true crime things just to sit and watch. And then I had a friend, at least a friend at the time, suggest like looking into the Gypsy Rose stuff when she was getting released, and that really caught my interest. And then from there, it kind of I just realized that like this is like something that really interested me, and it also it was like an interest of a lot of people in my community.
Yeah.
Overall was just like I was like, oh shit, actually I love watching this person or this person. You know, like we've at this point now every Thursday we watch Murder Was My Husband on stream. Like that was one channel that like there was like 3 or 4 of us that kind of just watched it on our own. And it was
Yeah.
like I started watching them more and more on stream of like, oh, this sounds like a cool case. And then like we ended up just making it a ritual at a certain point.
That's cool.
And so like stuff like that where it's like, okay, this is really interesting to me. And I end up finding some really very wild cases, cold cases. I think I found Suitcase Sarah was an interesting one, watching that
Yeah, I
delusional way.
think I saw that one. Jeez. It's just
And
crazy shit.
yeah, and there's always very interesting brain things that come along with covering those kinds of people. There's always something. There's always a screw missing or like a
Yeah.
cog that's not turning properly. When it comes to that, so it's always there's always something. It feels like always once it's not holidays. It's every week. There's like a new case that can catch my interest that I can just kind of roll through and really just soak up and consume. So. It's a nice reflection from the slop that I generally will consume.
It's pretty crazy, like what we can do as a human. It's like, what do you think convinces someone to like do those horrible acts? Like, why do you think that happens?
Or even in some cases, why they think it was justified. Like
Right.
doing these things is as that they aren't necessarily above the law, but that they shouldn't be punished because for X reason or Y reason. It's very fascinating to me. It breaks my brain once in a while, but it is always worth it.
Yeah, for sure. So what would you say is a milestone or achievement during your streaming career? Like, what do you think is the most like proudest moment?
To be honest, I think covering the Sarah Boone case is really one of my prouder moments, mostly because of some of the depths that I've been able to go with that, like some of the different directions that I've gone. Like I've it's pushed me to pull the trigger on like streaming on YouTube on occasion. It's I mean, it was part of the reason why I started doing the podcast with Bump, and it would be probably the reason we started back up. Would be what helps like the catalyst for that.
That'd be good. So you say you have your own podcast. Like, what kind of things you just discuss? Just like true crime.
There's sometimes it's true crime. A lot of times it'll be also one of the things that Bump and I like to do when we're like out for dinner or just out once in a while, just kind of waiting on something, is like Reddit, like "Am I the asshole?" posts and things like that. Some of
Yeah.
those are some fun for us, and that's like kind of
Yeah.
part of what started the idea of doing it, and then and like
Hmm.
because we found ourselves doing it so often.
Yeah. Makes sense. Priscilla says in chat from watching all the true crime, what's your opinion of humanity in general?
Um, ooh, I never really thought about that if that's changed since I started covering it.
Hmm.
I don't I think that my opinion of people and of humanity is it hasn't changed a whole lot because of
Hmm.
true crime. It's changed probably because of other things that really don't. I think it's been mostly experience that has changed my opinion of humanity. And
Hmm.
even then, I don't think it's been a drastic shift. Uh, Actually, no, I think that there was a drastic shift, but I don't think, yeah, I think it happened before true crime and everything. I think that true crime has, if anything, reaffirmed it in certain aspects. Like it's reassured that, oh yeah, no, this is still very much a possibility
Hmm.
of, in our reality. So I'd say it has changed, but not because of true crime, I guess. Is a good way to put
Yeah.
it.
Hmm. Yeah, I think I really think humanity is like, we haven't really changed that much. It just social media and cell phones made it obvious that we do have issues.
Yeah, I think that would be a good way to put it. Yeah,
Yeah, just human nature, really.
I think that social media has kind of warped how the people's perception on how to interact with one another. I think that has. I don't know if it's good or bad, but I know it definitely has been like a shift over the years of
Yeah,
on top of it's also shifted content creation as well. Um,
right.
and I don't know if it's just a good way, but I think there's some good qualities to it
Hmm.
that social media has provided to, like accountability,
Yeah,
things like that. I think that that's been a lot more of a prevalent thing since social media's come around.
yeah. I
Just
mean,
in
there's
general.
good things, and of course, there are always the bad,
Hmm.
unfortunately, but that's reality of like a new technology that we just don't know what the implications are,
Yeah,
like long term effects. I mean,
yeah, I agree.
there's plenty of good, there's plenty of good things that come from social media. It just lets us connect to celebrities if that's actually them, like on their accounts or whatever.
Hmm. Or what like the common trend has been over the last like couple weeks, uh, actively ignoring celebrities, which has been so funny to me seeing that. Seeing like MGK and JoJo Siwa just like actively have people like viewing their videos, but like not engaging with the actual content. Um, it's so funny to me. They're not commenting on the stuff. They're not like liking the post. They'll have like JoJo Siwa had like 25 million views on a video, but like 25 maybe 25,000 or 2,500 comments, I think it was. Like so like a fraction of a decimal
Yeah,
of like their like viewership and every their engagement is like it's just so funny to me because it really like because it's just a funny way to keep some
they
celebrities in
think
check.
they're just point at a point they just don't care.
I think that would be that would be the way to handle it. If they didn't want to lose their sanity, but I don't know. I don't know how many of them would be able to do that. Like, I think like people like JoJo are gonna kind of crumble from some of that. It's gonna fuck with them. But I do think that like there are people like MGK. I would hope that would just kind of not let it affect him and just move on. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But like that's wishful thinking, I suppose.
Yeah,
I just think it's funny because
it is.
uh, it's very much just like you became so reliant. Now we're cutting off your supply for a bit.
Right. Yeah. Nick Girl 7 says or asks, what was the first story that made you want to continue streaming true crime?
Uh, let me look at my case notes because I know that generally the time I think the Carly Gregg case was one where I was like, ooh, this is why I love covering this stuff. But I
Mhm.
do think that there's probably a more concrete case.
So
Probably the
what was that case?
Cassie Bjork case. Following that, following that timeline was very interesting to me to where I was like, wow, this is content that I do want to continue to do because this is like wild. This has got twists and turns, but like also there is so much to consume that like uh and it just kept getting better. And then the Carly Gregg case like really kind of concreted that more watching those closing statements. Oh, that's still one of my favorite closing statements to date is watching
But what was
the
it?
state prosecutor as she's giving her like she's like like kind of like talking out the timeline of how the events went, pulls out the gun that Carly used and reenacted it in front of the jury, and it just my brain exploded. It was like,
That's
and she did
crazy.
so well, and it was just such an intense moment. That like it was just the nails in that girl's coffin. And the girl's like 16 years old, right? And it's like putting in the nails in her coffin for the rest of her life, sitting in a cell, but like done so well and so like confidently and like
Yeah,
precisely that I was like this is I have to keep covering stuff like
that
this.
is crazy.
I have to keep looking for
Yeah, it makes it worth
equivalent.
it.
Yeah.
So what challenges have you had to overcome during your training career so far?
Uh, mental illness definitely. Funny enough, that has been my biggest challenge over the years.
Mm-hmm.
Is really trying to deal with that, with having something like streaming be like a contributing factor to with being like kind of a little bit of a hand on the dial
Yeah.
of it.
So
Um,
how do you handle that?
I took a lot of time to on myself, like figuring myself out, trying to like
Mm-hmm.
really dig through stuff I didn't like, and really
Yeah.
like look at myself, like reflect, and it really,
Mm-hmm.
and then like actually getting professional help too. That was the major thing. Is like, uh,
That's good.
even even back when I was spiraling a bunch, getting help, getting therapy to like quit doing like shit like gambling and doing other habits that were like contributing to warping my dopamine receptors,
Yeah.
and then getting like put on ADHD medication like like a couple years later really made a major difference too, like handling those two things
Nice.
uh made streaming way more stable and less paranoia. So
So where do you think that paranoia came from?
you said what?
Where do you think? Where do you think the paranoia came from?
I think a major contributing factor at the time was some of the people that I had around me, and I was in a phase in my life where I was like keeping people around me that were not good for me, were not worth giving space to, and
Mm-hmm.
were not productive to like what I was trying to achieve as a person, or like where I was trying to get in my life. So
How do you decide what content to stream? And do you have a process for planning your streams?
I a lot of it is just things that intrigue my brain and that stick in my brain for more than half a day. As like I'll comb through stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
there's some stuff that will pop back in my brain about something a day later, or a couple days later, or I'll still think
Mm-hmm.
I'll something will get thrown in my algorithm repeatedly, so I end up kind of
Yeah,
engaging with it, and then that ends up kind of opening a can of worms that I'm like, ooh, this is spicy. Like if it's uh or if someone's crashing out, that's instant check on the box. If someone's got a crash out involved, best believe
mm-hmm.
I'll be down to watch that. Um, as for like a process of priming for my streams, kind of. I do like a bit of organizing. Like I'll if I come across stuff, I will
Mm-hmm.
usually like kind of notate a link. Like I run. I don't know if you're familiar with the program Obsidian.
Not
It's typically
actually.
yeah. So like I use that a lot because it makes notation super easy to where I can just like click on my hyperlinks that and like I don't have to worry about a flood of text of like having to see the whole link. It's just in with the hyperlink.
Nice.
So it makes it nice, organized, easy for me. And so I usually like even
That's
now I have
helpful.
like a list. I have a list of stuff that I want to eventually that like I'll get to like the Tyler Oliveira body cam footage. We watched that in Discord yesterday. Like I can
Mm-hmm.
cross that off my list. Like I got stuff that for like the beast games. Like I have different things that like are so that I don't forget to circle back on them. Um, and
You
that usually
said
leads into like a
you
document.
mentioned these games. Or
Yes.
do you like that
Um,
show or
I don't. I don't. I think it's very dystopian feeling. Um,
yeah?
I watched about 10 minutes of the first episode. I made it through about 5 before I started really getting actually angry, and I was like, okay, I need to stop watching off stream because otherwise I'm like either a wasting content in my reactions because that's also one thing that I guess I keep in mind when I look for like determining content is like if I think that something's going to give me enough of a reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that is usually a pretty good indicator of it's like where I'm like a couple minutes into a video and I'm already
Yeah,
getting like kind of riled up. It's like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna throw this in my watch later. I'll circle back on stream. uh, and like so that was the Beast games were kind of like that. And we just watched an interview that someone did with someone that got kicked in the head on the first episode of the Beast games.
the
Um,
fuck.
yeah, and it was interesting because the person claims to have like a TBI, um, and things like that. But I honestly just think that she's crazy. Like that's the conclusion that I came to is that she's just kind of crazy. I don't know. I don't know if the kick in the head even happened. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if like I don't we it was hard to determine what even actually happened at the time. Um,
Yeah,
because they got played off by like a whole last production team that has like tens of people, if not close to 100 people staffed.
right.
Like because after looking at some of the stuff leading up to the Beast games coming out and stuff about Mr. Beast on a whole shit
Yeah, that
show.
whole thing was crazy.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't. It was so. all over. It was so Pepe Salve feeling and shit, like
Mm,
all over the place that I didn't even decide. I decided not to actively not cover it on stream because it was just
mhm.
all over the place, and it just felt like
It was too
people
much.
grabbing for money. Yeah, and it
Yeah.
was just a lot of, and it honestly resulted in a lot of people considering stuff commentary as a whole as slop. So now it's
Mhm,
like commentary's got to fight against being called slop for the next fucking 6 months.
mhm.
But like there was a lot of dystopian stuff with the Beast games, like
Yeah.
Mr. B, like Jimmy standing on like a pile of money while everybody else like uh, is on these like little platforms with
Yeah.
no and then every single like I watched they were talking to the individual like contestants were giving their like stories of what they were going to do with the money and stuff, and everybody's like, oh, I'm gonna help this person out, I'm gonna help these people out, oh, I'm gonna like it was all like I'm gonna help other people out with this money.
You're not gonna do that.
And then you turn around and the first game is like a self-sabotage, like it's like a if one of you hits the only votes to decides to like sacrifice themselves out of the games, then like that person get then like it's like I think it was like $50,000 or something, and then but it's like or it'll be split on however many, if there's more than one,
Yeah.
then it's between all of them, and it's like so it's like you're kind of there. He's like kind of pitting the contestants against each other as well as themselves and then like the first two games are self like sabotage feeling, and it just between that and like having Jimmy's hold like this, what was it, $5 million
Yeah.
over
Cool.
people's
Yeah.
heads, that are like these people are like a lot of these people are in this game to literally try to improve their lives or other people's lives around them,
Mhm.
uh, and like what seemed like at least a tenth of them, of the contestants, were all just trying to get themselves out of fucking poverty. And it just felt very
Yeah.
weird to have Jimmy be like, okay, you have to decide, do you want to stay in this game or do you want to vote yourself out for the sake of, so that the rest of your team can like compete and they can win money. Like,
Mhm.
it's just a very,
Yeah.
very
Like you're saying,
weird,
it is. It is
very,
pretty dystopian.
yeah, and it just was very off-putting to me to watch, and I just got very upset, and I haven't circled back on
Mhm.
it since.
Yeah. And someone was sharing their stream on Discord. It was and the base games. So I
Mm,
ended up watching a few minutes of that just by chance,
yeah,
and it just something just went off. Maybe because of Mr. Beast, what happened with him during like earlier
hmm with
that
the
year.
with Ava and the group chat, the work chats, and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't even watch him much before. I mean, like I knew that he was algorithm machine, and the fact of like I've
yeah,
watched interviews of him of where he like talking about how he operates, and like so like I kind of already knew that he approached everything that was involving with YouTube as a business, like with every step of
yeah.
the way. um because that's just was always apparent to me that he was a businessman uh than a content creator, which I mean I can respect.
Mm,
Like there's if you're able to monetize your content, by all means monetize the fuck out of it. Like more power to you. It just ain't gonna be me. Like that's not gonna be
yeah.
my
I
reliance
think
for
he
income.
just has too much power.
Yeah,
Like when
I
you
think that that is
sign
true.
up for a new account, okay, here's Mr. Beast. It's like, what the fuck?
Right.
And that's why
Yeah.
he's like exploded in popularity because he's manipulating the algorithm. It's
Yeah,
interesting.
he's a unique one, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a
Yeah.
bad thing.
So back onto your content. So how do
Okay.
you engage with your community or stream? And why do you think it's important?
I try to engage with my community and stuff by usually, like, a lot of times I love to hear people's inputs on things. I one of my favorite things is when I have people that recommend cases, or I've had a couple of cults recommended to me that were really interesting to like look into. Um, and
Hmm.
then going back and talking to the people that recommended it to me, even whether it's in chat or whether it's like in DMs or Discord, whatever. So going back and like kind of like have just discussing like the
Yeah.
information that both parties kind of collected is really just that's fun for me, is like sitting there and like, because I've had one of my friends recommend a couple of quotes, and sitting there after the fact and like kind of talking about what they hearing what they heard or what they know about, and then like,
Right.
and then kind of discussing that is really just it's really fun for me. I think that it's important because um I think it's the least you can do as a small content creator. If you have the ability to interact with the people that are kind of recommending things and like kind of interacting in your community, that's, I mean, it's about it's the best thing you can do for as a small content creator, because those people are
For sure.
offering up time, which is like far more
Yep.
valuable resource than money most
It
times.
definitely is. Yeah.
And like
So
like doing that, I mean, like that you kind of have to engage with a community if you want the community to survive to
true.
some degree.
I think that's true with most situations. So you're
You said
top
what?
10 creator. I think that's pretty much important for even top 10 creators, just to interact with their community, because the community, like you're saying, took time out of the day to watch you or whoever it may be.
Hmm.
Like you're saying, it's the least you can do.
Yeah.
So the flip side of that, have you ever dealt with online negativity or trolling, and how do you handle it?
Um. Oh yeah, yeah. Especially once I was like, it happened a lot when I was like coming out and post, like coming out and starting to do social transitioning and stuff. Uh, I had a lot of negativity from some of the people that I had around me at the time. Like some of it was public, some of it was private. I also got like, there were a lot of times where I would get called. I get messages from like fucking people I didn't even know. I never even had. I wouldn't have, but like maybe one person I would have an overlap with. I get DMs of like calling me slurs, telling me to go play in traffic, things like that. It wasn't like all the time, but I definitely had it. I mean, like I existed. I had people around me like actively that did not believe in the validity of the existence of like trans people, and it's like, okay, cool, like that's
Hmm.
great and all, but like I'm not gonna have you around. Like, so the way I handled it is
Yeah.
a lot of people that if it's around me, I just fucking I make a point to some I have in the past at least made it a point to use someone's negative behavior towards me as an example of like how someone's a shitty person, um
Right. Yeah.
and stuff. Like I've definitely scorched earth and like burned bridges and stuff, um and like for then, like at this point, it's just I don't mind doing it as long as I've put thought into it, and that I've considered and willing to stand my grounds on where I'm coming from. Is really like, if yeah, I mean, like there's been times where I've cut off whole friendships because and been willing still to this day stand on my grounds on what I said. Uh because like that's the kind of the commitment I made to myself. It was like I'm not gonna it's like doubling down in a way, I guess, but at the same time
Yeah.
I'm just not gonna back down from like my belief system that anymore
Yeah.
over people
I mean,
that
you shouldn't
uh,
just because of some person just
yeah
doesn't agree with you.
not in my that's not in my life.
Yeah.
If they're not fucking me, feeding me, or my parents, then like I respectfully I will hear out what you have to say, but like I don't have to take what you tell me.
Right. Yeah.
Uh I don't have to take it to heart and hold on to mental space if I don't want to.
Right. Makes
You know?
sense. That was kind of funny. In chat, is that Jesus or Santa staring back at me? What
I'm trying to
would
remember
you
when.
say are your favorite games to stream?
Uh, to stream? Oh
Yeah.
God. Probably Balatro. Balatro is still top like two.
That's a good game.
Oh God, I will forever stream the fuck out of Balatro. Even if I'm losing runs left and right.
Yeah.
Backpack Battles has been one that I've been playing a lot of on stream and off stream. Um, because like I can spend shop time talking if I need to. It only requires like a little bit of my brain space for small bits of time.
Mm,
Um, that's generally a lot of what I look for when it comes to games that I'm gonna play on stream. If I'm not playing with somebody, uh, which doesn't happen a lot, um, then it's generally something that's not going to require much brain space, or that I can either let run AFK, and it's not going to be the end of the world, or
yeah.
that I can pause very easily and unpause, and it's not going to make much of a difference. Um, Purely because whenever I'm doing commentary and stuff, like I forever will always pause the video, pause the game if I need to, and yap it up, and then go back to it. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, but that's mostly one because of free use or fair use and everything, and two, there's not really a point to people watching my channel. Uh, if I'm just watching videos and not saying shit, they'll just go. They should just go watch the videos then.
Might as well. Might as well.
Yeah, you go show the actual creators that put time into making that content support versus me that's
Mm-hmm.
just literally soaking it in. Um, so at
Right.
least I try to like at least give some commentary while I do stuff
Yeah.
and while I'm watching, because that's why the people go to that specific channel and be in that
Right.
chat and while they're reacting to stuff, is they're there for that creator to like to hear what they have to say and input into it.
I mean, do you have any genres that you avoid?
I have a strict don't touch the poo policy. We all look at the poo, we can point at it, we can laugh at it, we can make comments about the poo, but we don't touch the poo because we don't want poo on our fingers. So that's like basically I I try to keep the drama out of house.
Yeah.
Because having drama in house and like trying to wrangle people and shit like that, it's just I'm not getting paid enough to do that. Respectfully, I just can't.
So could you share any gear that you wear? Like,
I think the gear you could swear by would probably be the Stream Deck, or just a good interface. Honestly, like I've had a couple of different
maybe,
interfaces, but like for your like
what do you mean
mic,
by interface?
like
Okay. Yeah.
audio,
Yeah.
audio
Yeah.
interface.
What made you decide to come out?
Um, I was tired of of kind of hating myself or the way that I was. Um, uh, and like I hated feeling kind of just not right. Like just not things just didn't line up right, I guess.
Hmm.
For I couldn't even tell you how long. A lot of it came like an example that kind of came that popped into my brain later on after like looking back on it. When I like did music, I used to do like metal music, and I was like a vocalist. Um,
Mm.
and one thing that happened was is when we did like a show one time, and I wore these like neon green, like lime neon green, women's skinny jeans, and everybody else in my band. All keep in mind they were wearing skinny jeans too, not women's skinny jeans, but skinny jeans nonetheless. Were giving me shit specifically because I preferred to wear the way that it felt to wear the women's skinny jeans. It felt like on like my legs, like my calves and my thighs and that compared to men's. And that I just
Mm.
that was something that I was making fun of, and it's like, okay, well there was other things that were kind of like involved in that. Looking back, after, in retrospect, being like, oh wow, okay, well, things like that didn't make sense. It just didn't line up till later on after the fact. Trying to think of another like really good one, but like that's not super hard to explain. Yeah, I never when it came to like even interacting with some of like my male friends, I never really connected on any of the topics or like, common interests that you would have with like dudes would have. I just never had any of those.
Yeah.
I was never
Mm.
into sports, I was never into cars, I was never into uh like I played with Barbies when I was younger, and that wasn't even like a big deal even now, but like looking
Yeah.
back on it, like I didn't sit and play with I played with construction stuff, but that was because my dad worked with construction trucks, like
Hmm.
excavators and stuff. Uh but like outside of that, like there really wasn't any much overlap, if any. uh when it came to that, so just things never really aligned, I guess, and so it just kind of
Mm.
started taking things as they came and just kind of adapting with it a little bit and just kind of figuring out as I went.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, do you feel? I assume you feel better afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel a lot more at peace, and not necessarily as things aren't as dark, I guess, is one way to put it. And you're okay, okie dokie. Um it was something that like I didn't really think about until after the fact, and like I was probably a year after I come out and everything. I was talking to Bump one night, and she had pointed out, she goes, ever since you came out, you've just slowly kind of come out of this like dark fog that's been around you. Uh,
Mm.
like there was just a lot of self hatred that came from not just not feeling like
Yourself.
yeah, hating almost every aspect of myself to where I
Mm.
almost physically wanted to claw my skin off. There's been multiple times where I'll even to this day I'll make a joke of like, sometimes I just want to just like peel my skin off and like molt. And that was, for a bit that was like a joke of like women like their periods are actually just them peeling their skin off once a month. And so it was just like that was the joke for a little bit. The community was like, oh, it must be that time of month for grind. She's just
Must
talking
be.
about wanting to claw her skin off again. um, but like that stuff like that feeling though, like definitely kind of subsided over time. I mean, it's been a couple of years now, so
Yeah,
like, um, so it's usually not. Now it's definitely, yeah. There's been an improvement since of like that whole lowering of
that's
self
great.
hatred.
Definitely good feeling. Just
Yeah.
to be more in tune with yourself.
Yes. That is actually a really good way to put it. I have been a lot more in tune with myself, just as a human. Um, and I've
Mm.
been able to the point where I can like, I stand stronger for myself. On things I have more confidence because I feel a little bit more aligned with who I am, even regardless of where I'm sitting at. I still feel a little bit more comfortable in my own skin at the very least. And that's been a huge improvement.
That's great. I mean, a lot of people just aren't comfortable in their own skin, which is unfortunate, but I think social
It's
media just adds
well,
so much pressure.
it's also it's a tough fucking process coming to terms with some stuff about yourself. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'll only speak for myself on this. There was aspects I just that like were just very like even now I still am struggling to come to terms with on certain things that like just mannerisms and stuff that like you pick up from like your parents or like your surroundings where you're like it just you're like hitting your head against a wall trying to like I guess like kind of out that like behavior or whatever to like cut it out so it's not a consistent problem.
Right. Makes sense. So, what would you say? What would your thoughts on current trends in the gaming industry or streaming technology, like say AI?
Oh, AI. I think that I think that there's a use for AI. I just think that people are, and this is very expected in my opinion, very reliant on the things that AI can offer. Um,
Right. Yeah.
to a scary degree in the aspect that people are unaware of the long term outcomes. Like
Mm-hmm.
people like using something as simple as like submitting photos to like do quirky little like AI filters and like have like a AI like sketch you up like looking different.
Yeah.
Like you realize you're like submitting your likelihood or like likeliness to that
Mm-hmm.
AI to that you're like putting it
Yeah.
into a system.
Sometimes
Like yeah,
you just
it's
don't
on
think about
social
that.
media. Yeah, it's on social media and everything, but like that's just under the basis that you are providing a photo that is already on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
You know that you didn't save that you took on like a DSLR camera or like a film camera and then converted it. Like there's things like that it's like you went through a process to submit this photo. You just might not have
Yep.
realized it. And like
Hello, Frankie. What are we doing
now
now?
it's like uh now that is like into a system that you have literally no control over. Um,
Yeah.
and then uh, you look at that like the bot problems that you see on social media, and it's like, yeah, that's all AI driven. You realize that now, not like by this point now,
Yeah.
majority of those are all like AI driven. So like you're feeding into
Right.
that same system eventually, especially
Yeah.
since like social media is such a massive thing that like you and that's something to think about
Mm-hmm.
too. Now that AI is a thing, is the stuff that you put on things like X or Facebook especially because Facebook just like now, I think recently came out about wanting to work more bots into their
Yeah. Yep.
systems to provide content and well I mean like who's gonna make up the content for those bots? AI, because
True.
that's the only thing that's going to keep up consistently.
Yeah.
Otherwise you wouldn't do it with bots, you do it with people. You'd hire people to run those accounts, but instead you're using bots. So that leans towards like it's going to, if it's not already, it's going to lead to AI stuff just predominantly dominating those things. And
It sucks. It's really unfortunate that
yeah,
we
well,
just are not gonna know what's real or AI.
yeah, I was about to say that's the thing is they're trying to shoot to the point where you're not going to be able to tell the difference, and that is a little scary. If it's like okay, well,
Yeah.
like because I already see posts on Facebook the few times that I get on like maybe once a week
Mm-hmm.
uh, when I'm like bored and nothing else is popping off. Um, I'll go on there and scroll on Marketplace, but like in the process, I come across like 6 or 7 accounts that I don't follow. I don't have no. There's literally no reason for them to be
Yeah.
on there other
Yeah.
than literally Facebook being like, check out this meme. This might be relatable to you. And I usually scroll by it, but it's like, sometimes it'll be like, oh yeah, actually that's relatable. I might reshare that, and then I realize it's not anybody that I actually fucking like
Right.
follow or like know. And it's like,
Hmm.
who the fuck is this?
And that also brings up that theory of like the internet
Yeah,
theory.
I thought about bringing it up, and then I was like, nope, we're not gonna. It's gonna be a rabbit hole. I don't want to get started on that. I was like,
I guess right
I'm
here
not. I'm
now.
not gonna bring it up. That is kind of like what I was like hinting at. Yeah, the dead internet theory is like something I still need to like look heavily into. Um,
Yeah.
just kind of brought it up to my community and my chat's attention last night. I think
Hmm.
that like, or not last night or the night before. But either way, that is yes, that is like a very strong thing that's becoming not just a theory, but like a reality. More and more with AI becoming
Hmm.
relevant. It's
Not
just
just a
becoming
theory, an
yeah,
AI theory.
yeah. Yeah. It's 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 scary. It's scary because
Yeah, it's
when
scary
you
to
get
think
down that
of.
rabbit hole, I'm a little concerned on where my brain will be at the end of that rabbit hole because I
Maybe
got
we
a
can
cold.
do that in part two or something.
Yeah.
So, what kind of future goals do you have for your stream in the next year?
In the next year, I want to be. I actually am starting to make the initiative to stop, not stream as many days.
Hmm.
To start working on YouTube content because I want to. The overall goal, even with the like the podcast with Bump, is to kind of do a show.
Yeah.
Like kind of like what H3 does, where they have different types of shows, but they have like a schedule where
Mm,
you know they're going to be at least be live doing something. It's
yeah.
just kind of what they're doing. The content kind of shifts around the topics that are being brought up. So it'll be like whatever type of different show. Like so, it'll be like bumping crime will be when her and I do like a true crime podcast episode. Like it's just a true crime theme. It's
Cool.
generally, or we'll do the hot podcast when we do like the Reddit stories. When like we'll find spicy Reddit stories, we'll sit in front of a hot pot and do that. So that's the goal, is to eventually do that, as well as like I want to
Hmm.
just kind of put out commentary videos uh on like topics that I think are relevant on YouTube,
Yeah.
just for myself. And I would like to. The goal is to also do like true crime, like basically just kind of like start putting my projects onto YouTube in a more off stream form that's like
Yeah.
organized and edited
Makes
and
sense.
cleaned up. Yeah, and a little bit more of a compound digestible instead of watching 6 hours of me
Right.
combing through uh, shit, or like what I'm about to do tonight is like comb through 10 hours of schizo posting from one person.
Mhm. Jeez.
Yeah. Well, he kind of went over the edge there a little bit, uh, and then tried to reel it back. So now we're really gonna dive through
Mhm.
because it was very very exhausting in the short clips that we saw the other night. So I can't wait.
Jeez. So, what kind of dream collaborations would you want to have?
I don't know. Actually, this is gonna sound really bad. Um, I don't. I don't really see, not necessarily a point in collabing. I just don't. I don't see an importance in collabing
Hmm.
because I don't see an importance on. Maybe it's because I've been burned by people before that I've collabed with like pretty consistently. I've
Mm,
had multitude of times where like it just the bridge gets severed, and then like it's kind of like I feel like I put my community in a whole like divorced kind of thing where they still watch. I don't mind. It doesn't bother me that they go watch that person still, but like, I don't want them to feel bad because it might have affected me, I guess. So I have started to not rely as much on collabs because it's easier for me to run the ship myself in a way.
Makes sense. Yeah.
I don't have to worry about a captain falling asleep on duty.
So I guess the last two questions here. So if you were to give advice to someone that is starting streaming like today or whenever,
Okay.
like this month, like what tips would you have? Like what 3 tips do you have?
A big one. Don't narrow yourself. I am a hypocrite a little bit in this. Don't narrow yourself to just streaming on like Twitch. Always pursue your avenues, whether that's editing videos and posting them on YouTube, whether that's streaming on other platforms, whether that's multi-streaming, whether that's doing behind the scenes work for people. Don't narrow off your avenues to just streaming on Twitch. I'm gonna be 100% real. Twitch is not a viable platform to stream on if you are just starting. Unfortunately, it doesn't mean that streaming's pointless by any means on Twitch. I want to emphasize that. But like, there was a major boom that happened with COVID and everything because people were in their houses and stuff. But nowadays, there's substantially less reason and initiative for people to be at home watching a stream on their nights.
Right.
Like normal people aren't going to sit like a normal person that goes and works a 9 to 5 generally isn't going to sit there and watch streams unless they like game on PC. They're not going to watch streams for more than an hour.
Right.
Unless they have like one or two channels that like don't stream every day. Like they're not people like normal people are just not going to do that, especially for gaming. Respectfully, unless they're playing the game, unless they love the game that they're watching, or the streamer, they're just not gonna. It's just unrealistic to ask for a normal person's time every single day, or 6 days, 5 days out of the week for hours on end. It's even unrealistic for me, which is why I'm cutting out a day, because it still blows my mind the amount of times, the streaks that people have, the amount of watch time that people have, where it's like, I don't know why you guys watch me. Respectfully, like I go live because I don't have anything to do.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'd be sitting at my computer doing the same thing I'm doing on stream, just not talking to anybody. You know?
Yeah, sometimes I just get to just disconnect.
Yeah.
Just recharge your batteries.
Right.
Yes, you can see.
I guess another piece of advice would be do something that you actually enjoy doing, whether it's a game, whether it's crafting, whether it's watching videos, whether it's yapping for 4 hours. Do something you enjoy doing on stream, because people won't build a community of a positive community if you're doing something that you hate doing on stream,
Right.
because those people are going to stick around because you're miserable. They just want to see you miserable. You can go down that route, but I don't recommend it for everybody. Like most people, I don't recommend. If you're going to stream, do it at your comfortability, with schedule and with content, and do it somewhat consistently. Don't overdo it. If you want to see growth out of it, consistency is your best option. And posting on other platforms.
Yeah, like you're saying. Yes, exactly. Going on to other platforms, let people get to know who you are.
Well, you look at some of the streamers that are at like even 3,000. We'll say like around 3,000 viewers, between 1,000 and 3,000. Most of those people that have the consistent number, a lot of those people are YouTubers that have been posting, or streamers that post on YouTube. Like I follow a couple of streamers, gaming streamers, like General Sam, Aqua FPS, things like that. That they have been on YouTube for years, like close to a decade, and they can stream once a week, twice a week on some of them, uh, and they'll hold those numbers and they'll grow because they're posting on other platforms. They're posting videos that other people are consuming, and then they're like, "Oh shit! Actually, I got a night. I'm not doing anything tonight. Oh wait, I think I remember on so and so's video they said they stream on these nights. Maybe I'll go check it out." And then they end up finding you and they come check you out once a week. Like that's generally the best way. People aren't like even collabing. Respectfully, collabing a lot of times, you have to really bring some good content that people are gonna enjoy and want to go enjoy on their own. Otherwise, you're just, I mean, like you can over time you can build that and like people get to know people and things like that. But yeah, like just little instances of collabs aren't beneficial unless you're doing it consistently or you're bringing like almost better content than the person that you're collabing with.
So I'm gonna ask this earlier, but when did you start watching Twitch?
When I start
Watching streams?
I think I started watching them a little over 10 years ago. I used to watch City Skylines. I actually found a couple. I found a streamer at the time that I watched do Rust RP, GTA RP, watch a lot of RP, and I found some cool RP streamers at the time, like, you know, a decade ago. At the time that I followed for a while, and, you know, it was just, but those were people that were, you know, doing not just gaming content, but they were like kind of having little niches and little cool little quirky things in the stream like you see now, but it wasn't as often that you see that back then. So something that like really intrigued me, and so I kind of then I got into commentary drama.
Were you around like just in TV days?
Yeah, I was a little bit. I watched Soda. I watched Wreckful. I watched a lot of the, you know, the OG ones that were
Rest in peace, Wreckful.
Yes. I man, I don't know if the channel is up anymore, but for like I think it was close to 2 years after he died, they ran VODs.
They did, yeah.
I think maybe a couple of years ago they stopped because it finally caught up to current like, you know, the end of the saga. The whole story, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, I watched a little bit of that. It was I do miss those days sometimes. Those were some wild. The platform was a wild place on Justin TV.
Yeah, it was.
You know, but it's probably for the better.
Yeah,
we have platforms like that again. It's called Kick.
Yeah. Would you stream on Kick?
I've considered it at different points. If I do it, it's literally just as a not to narrow my avenues, I think. I just don't see there's a major benefit or like a substantial reason for me to do it because, especially as like a trans person, I just feel like I'm a bit more of a target and it'd be more of a headache than it would be a help. So it's just like one of those things where it's like, because unfortunately, yeah, there's like most people they see that have the overlap of multi-streaming on at the same time on Twitch and like Kick and stuff are generally not the most trans-friendly people. So, yeah, it is what it is.
I have some rapid fire questions. Okay. Just the first thing that you think of. What's your favorite game?
Balatro.
Movie.
I have like almost 700 hours in that game.
Well, no movie.
Movie? Kill Bill.
Yeah, that's a classic. And
Mm-hmm.
TV show.
The Office.
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, I've been really enjoying Balatro.
Oh God,
It's
I
a
get
good game.
man, that game. I love roguelites,
Even the
and that
music.
one, yep. And the crazy thing is, it's just one track. It just changes speed depending on what you're
Yep.
doing. Yeah, it's fantastic. There's so many different variations too of the music that
Mm-hmm.
you hear on YouTube of people made. It's so cool. I love it. It's
Nice.
by far my favorite game to have come out. Like it's in so many different ways
Yeah.
from one
So,
person.
can you share a fun fact about yourself that your viewers might not know?
I've overdosed before.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, yeah.
Can
It's
you
not my
share what
proudest.
you
Uh,
overdosed on?
it was Oxycontin. I used to be a big old
Mm-hmm.
oped pre-streaming.
Damn.
There's a lot, but that's it's. I think that's probably the deepest I can go
Mm-hmm.
without uh, skirting some TOS.
Yeah. So, final question here. If you were stuck on a desert island, like in the middle of the ocean,
Okay.
and you could only bring three objects with you, what would they be?
A Steam Deck, a bong, and a pot plant.
Nice. Can't go
I
wrong
could
with that.
I could work with those three things.
You don't want to bring like a knife or like fire starter or
No, I think I think I could figure out some stuff. I think I could be creative enough to make it work.
do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, actually, I do. I held out on all the Balatro stuff till the end. Do you have all the decks unlocked?
I still need
Okay.
to.
What decks do you have unlocked, and what's your favorite one so far?
I'm still figuring it out.
Okay,
I,
that's right.
I need good seeds.
See, you
If
know
you have
what?
any.
You know what? I might let me look through my notes. And see because
Nice.
there was a point where I was kind of saving a couple of seeds early on. Uh, I'll look through my stuff and see. I got documents on documents. Um, what are your goals this year for streaming? Out of curiosity.
Actually release these interviews on YouTube because
Okay.
I just have this whole backlog of like 15 episodes.
Ooh, you see, you got an upload schedule ready to go. You got a starter. Okay,
Yeah,
okay, all right.
I just have to actually do it.
Yeah. Hey, you know what though? That's honestly that's one of the harder parts. Is like just being like, all right, today's the day. I'm just gonna hit the upload button, and then we're just gonna leave it. We're
Yeah,
just gonna let it sit. It's not easy. Trust.
no, it's
It
not.
seems
I
easy, but it's
just,
not.
I just put a video up of me being on Cute Bot channel. I don't know
Okay.
if you know who she is.
Um, I don't know if I do.
She's like, does this e-dating. Of course, it's a
Okay.
gimmick, but it's something I do once in a
Yeah,
while. Actually,
link it to me
go
if you get
on
it.
to her show. Like, how many? Like 4,000 people watching
Oh
me
hell yeah! I love that.
during her stream, of course. But hey, I
Hey, you know what?
released that onto YouTube and it's there.
Yeah. You did the start. You got the first one out there. The first 10
Yeah,
I've told are the hardest ones because they're the ones that you're like most nervous about. because you haven't. It's new to you. You haven't dipped your toes in the water. You haven't had any time to see what the feedback is or any of that. So
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah. I think that shall do it for the interview. It was a good time.
Hell yeah. Well, I'm glad. I had a blast. It's been a while
Nice.
since somebody was the one asking me questions.
Man, Stream Elements is really like self aware. It literally just posted my it's a
Yeah,
link.
we love that. Fuck yeah. Here, let me do this so I have it. I'm gonna go watch that video later. Maybe we'll watch that before we get into the schizo posting.
Hmm. Yeah, it's pretty funny. I mean, some parts of it were kind of cringe, but hey,
It's okay. We all get cringe sometimes.
all right, well, look at you
Yeah,
during your streams or whatever. All right,
sounds good.
have a good one.
You too.
See you next time, audience.